Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. My name's Nick Park, and about 35 years ago, I was working in the northwest of England. I was the assistant pastor of a church, and to be honest, there wasn't a lot of money coming in, and so I also had a job working in financial services. So I was selling life insurance, I was arranging pensions, health insurance, helping people get mortgages and stuff like that. And at that time, there was a crisis developed on just close to where we were living with this new housing estate that had only been open for a few years. And suddenly they realized there was a great problem because there was large quantities of methane gas that was seeping into the homes and basically made them dangerous to live in. And overnight, as this was discovered, the value of those homes, which were newly built homes, but the value of those homes sunk to, well, basically they became worthless overnight. People couldn't get insurance on their houses anymore. They had mortgages on the houses and they couldn't sell the houses anymore. This was at a time whenever even paying a mortgage was a real struggle. I'm talking in a time when mortgage rates were over 15% interest a year. And here were these people trapped in these houses that they paid a lot of money for, expensive mortgages, and they couldn't sell the house at all because it had become worthless. Now, the reason why there was methane seeping into these homes was because the homes were built on a landfill. This was at a time whenever most of us didn't think very much about what happened with our rubbish. Today we're much more environmentally conscious, but back then you put your bins out and your bins got collected by the local council. There wasn't really any private firms doing that. The local council would come and collect your bins and you didn't think anything more about it. But what they were doing, they were burying all the waste in the ground and then covering it with soil as landfill and then selling the land to building developers who were building housing estates on top of all this waste that was buried under the ground. And what happens, of course, is when you get food and stuff like that in our rubbish, there's bacteria in it. And the bacteria in the food that's trapped in the waste then produces a reaction that produces methane gas. And so you had vast quantities of methane gas coming out from underneath the ground into these homes. And there was nothing that anybody could do about it. It was a real scandal. It was a scandal because the rubbish, we thought it out of sight, out of mind, but it hadn't been dealt with. It had just been hidden away. And I've discovered that if you cover up rubbish, there's consequences to that. If you cover up filth, if you cover up dirt, then it doesn't go away and it still can cause problems. And there's a real lesson for us there in how we deal with the junk in our lives. You know, if we're followers of Jesus Christ, we can bring the rubbish in our lives. We can bring the stuff that we've been through, the bad attitudes that have developed, the sinful habits, just the scars that we're carrying from painful events of the past. And we can bring that in prayer to Jesus Christ, and he can really make a difference. You know, he doesn't just cover it up, he deals with it totally. He carries it away. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. And so if we don't allow Jesus to take all that rubbish away, then we're basically just burying it. And we think it's gone, but it's still there. And like the methane gas that came out and destroyed the value of those homes, the rubbish that we just try to hide away and bury can come back to bite us in unexpected ways. So I want to encourage you in your walk and relationship with the Lord, bring everything to God in prayer. Because when we bring it to him, he doesn't just cover it over. He deals with it once and for all. He carried it all to the cross for us so we wouldn't have to bury our rubbish and deal with the consequences of it ourselves. Thank God for Jesus today. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.